it's Anne. I'm here to do my creative year, and this week's prompt is temper. So basically like the calm before the storm. And Gina and Cindy wanted me to discuss with you what happens when you buy a house or you sell your house and you have to buy another house. A lot of people are moving that I know of, and I know Gina is one of them that is going to be relocating in the near future. And so I'm going to share with you the calm before the storm, before the temper. So basically April of last year, excuse me, we went and put down on a home, a brand new home. And most homes that are brand new, you have to put down like a $5,000 deposit, basically to hold the sale and so on and so forth. And you do get pre-approved. You have to go through the pre-approval. And pre-approval does not guarantee that you're going to get the loan. Word of warning and caution. Ever since 2008, when the market crashed and people got involved in all those not very good loans, and people were foreclosing on their homes because of those bad loans, the banks have gotten very strict about, excuse me, of what they can, what is, what kind of information they need from you, all kinds of things. Excuse me, I got an itch in my throat and I started coughing, sorry. So basically, you do the pre-approval and you have to submit all your credit card statements, all your investments, what's your retirement. If you have a retirement investment, you have to provide all this information. And it's to the point where you kind of go, they keep coming back with other weird things they want you to do. It's basically, they want to see you jump through hoops. Some of the banks, I think, are on some kind of a power trip where, they want to see how far you'll go, how much you'll offer them. And what happened with us was the first time, we put our house on the market in, I believe it was May, the end of May. No, was it May or was it September? No, it was September. Sorry. So we put our house on the market in September. And most realtors say that there's really no set time, set in stone of when to put your house up on the market. It also kind of depends on the area you're in, whether, there might be a lack of housing, and so no matter what time of year you put your house on the market, you might end up with a bidding war. And I'll get into that in a minute. But I'm going to tell you the storm part, the temper part. So what happened is the first time we put our house up on the market and we got multiple offers. So our realtor suggested that we look at the offers. And what happens is when you get multiple offers, the realtors that are representing the buyers will suggest that these families write a letter, okay? Sort of like a letter convincing the sellers to basically sell you their home, okay? Sell the home to them. Now, buyer, I'm going to say beware of that, because we let a certain couple tug on our heartstrings, and we weren't really thinking about the money part of it. So we got involved in this the first time around, and the woman was the nightmare from the buyer from hell, basically. She wanted so much from us that it was just ridiculous. Yes, I can see that she was concerned. It was a 17-year-old home. We maintained it very well, but she wanted to know every little thing that we did on the home, every little maintenance thing. Why, Did we replace faucets? Did we replace this? Did we replace that? You know, she had like a 20-page questionnaire that I have never experienced in my life. And we've sold homes in the past, and this was just like the nightmare from hell. It got to the point where she was just dragging out the sale because she wasn't complying with the contingencies that we had put on as well. And so basically, in the end, we said, you either make us an offer, because we were waiting for her to counter offer. And she kept just asking for more information and not asking to counter offer. So we just said, we're done. We're done with this seller. We need to find someone else. And unfortunately, all the other buyers that had been lined up, you know, had put on the other multiple offers, had already found something. So we were back to square one. So basically what happens is your house goes back up on the market. But this is a kicker too. Zillow or Trulia or any of the, I think it's Trulia, any of the real estate sites, when you put your home back up on the market, it doesn't really show that. It just says it's been on the market for 880 days, let's say. And it doesn't show anything like whether that home had been in the selling phase yet or not. So it could look like it's been on the market for months when it really wasn't on the market for months, if you kind of understand what I'm trying to get at. So anyhow, so we had to put the house back up on the market for the second time. And when you put your house up on the market too, you have to be available basically 24/7, or not 24/7, but you know, you have to be available Monday through Friday, weekends. You basically have to be ready to leave at a moment's notice when a realtor calls and says, can we show the house at such and such time? And you know, you kind of have to be at their mercy because you know, you want to sell the house. So if you have animals, if you have pets, you've got to scurry, or you have kids, for instance, you got to scurry and clean everything up, vacuum real quick, because they don't always give you a time frame. They'll give you maybe a little bit of a window and, you know, not a whole lot of notice. So you're scurrying around like a bat out of hell trying to pick things up. And so that was another issue. So we decided, because my mother-in-law had a place and she was moving out of it, and so we moved into her home while our house was on the market. We just decided I couldn't handle going through every day people calling and me having to pack my dogs up in the car, straighten everything up, and go to my mother-in-law's just to hang out for the day. So we just decided, forget that. We're just gonna take what we need out of the house, leave whatever furniture we wanted to stage the house for, because nowadays, especially in markets where there are new homes popping up everywhere, like in Brentwood where I was living, there are brand new homes and developments going up everywhere. So people are more interested in going for the newer homes, generally speaking. So our 17-year-old home had to kind of look like a model home. So you have to consider how you're going to stage your home. First of all, you need to declutter everything, and neutral tones. So that means no bright paint on your walls. Like if you had purple in one bedroom, I suggest you just basically come in and paint your whole home in neutral colors if you want to really, if you're really in the market to sell and you want to get good money, top dollar. That is one thing you need to think about, is putting a little bit of money into the home in order to sell it. So we basically did that. We had some areas of the house that I had painted in bright colors. So yeah, so then basically that's what ended up happening. And so, yeah, so we just had, you know, this whole situation. So anyhow, The second person was a veteran, and apparently he had a VA loan. And so we thought, oh, this is just great. This is wonderful. They're going to get in, this should be a piece of cake. Well, it turns out that he was 2 days shy of service. So he could no longer get the loan. But the problem is they dragged us out for 2 weeks because they were screwing around to try to get another loan, but they didn't tell us. And so basically here we thought that the house was going to basically sell, but they dragged us out for about 2 to 3 weeks. And in the end, they said, sorry, but we can't get it. We can't find a bank that's going to give us a loan because he just didn't make enough money or who knows what. So he couldn't get the loan. So we were then back to ground zero again. We had to put the house back up on the market. And by that point, we were, let's see, May. So, no, not May, September, October. So, yeah, so then we were back up on the market. We actually, no, we waited a couple more weeks to put it back on because we decided that we had a inspection done the first time around. So when we put it back up on the market, we said we would have these things done before the mover came in. So the second time around, when this guy pulled out again, we just decided, let's just do all the repairs that were found on the inspection. And they were just minor little things here and there. So we went ahead and did the minor repairs and then put it back up on the market. So we were about 2 to 3 weeks off market again. So we put it back up on the market, and by this point, it was November. And we were just like, this is just getting ridiculous. And we were getting really nervous because of the fact that, we had pulled out some money from my husband's 401k to cover the down payment on the new home until the old home sold. Then we would put the money back into his 401k, basically. So it was just a nightmare. It was a temper storm, big time. We were very frustrated and we were very nervous because it was like, what are we going to do if the sale falls through altogether? Because this was just getting ridiculous. And luckily, the bank, our bank that was funding our loan, ended up being really good about it. They actually said, well, if initially we're going to put a lot more down on the down payment, and we said, almost close to the end of closing, we said, no, we can't put that much down because our house hasn't sold yet. So they said that's fine, and so we were able to do that much part, which was thankfully came through okay. So then the second time we put the house up on the market, and it was up for a week, less than a week actually. And in some ways, the third time is the charm because we got way more offers than we did the first or the second time, which was really interesting. I think what happened is that people had come through and saw the house the first and second time around, and they just thought, well, we'll think about it, kind of thing. And so when it went back up on the market, we got those people that had come through and said they'd think about it. They were really serious at that point. So we got all these offers and letters and things. Ignore the letters, basically, because the bottom line is the letters are just to sort of pull at your heartstrings and hope that the seller, will accept the buyer's offers. Okay? Ignore the letter because to me it's just a waste of time. Look at the numbers. Ask, you have the right to ask if they can actually really afford to fund this. You can get a letter from their loan person and from their realtor saying that they are truly, in fact, able to cover this, because That's what we had the third buyer do, was, can you prove to us that you're not going to back away at the very last minute, because this has just gotten ridiculous. So basically, we ended up selling the house finally, and it was really weird. It was right on the day that we signed the papers on the new home, and we were like, oh man, we could have put way more down. So we ended up putting down more in the end, as a extra payment or whatever. But yeah, so in the very end, everything worked out okay. But that is, the fun part of selling a home and buying a new home and then moving. And, if you are planning on moving and you're planning on selling your home, my suggestion is if you know for sure that you're going to move, say, in a year from now, my suggestion is that you start decluttering, start deciding what you're going to keep, what you're going to pack, what you're going to take, that kind of thing, because it will make life a lot easier than waiting till almost the last minute to move things and to, declutter, to take things off of, to get rid of things, that kind of stuff. I had been planning on it for about a year, had started decluttering and stuff, because we had been discussing things for about a year and a half to almost 2 years about relocating, downsizing, that kind of thing. Where were we going to go? The pros, the cons. When my husband retired, that kind of thing. All of those things fall into place. If you have family, how far are you going to be away from your family? Those kinds of things. So that is all part of the fun part of selling and moving and buying a new home. So without further ado, I am going to do a little project regarding temper. And so stay tuned for that. And I hope that you enjoyed my little take on selling and buying a home and the temper part of it all, the frustration of it all. So thanks for watching and stay tuned. Don't go away. All right, so I'm back and I'm going to do my temper, my version of what temper could look like, kind of a temper. And I kind of think of colors as, for anger, as like oranges, reds, maybe a magenta, that kind of thing, to signify anger or temper or something along those lines. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some kind of like abstract picture, and this is a great way also to get out your feelings out on a canvas or paper or whatever. If you're feeling anxious or angry about something, this is a great way to get your emotions out. So
So also working with these, you really get to play and experiment with different mediums when you're doing an abstract or something along the lines to just get your emotions out and play and get those angry feelings or temper or whatever you want to call it out. And using it with color, you know, splattering color onto something. I mean, it's very cathartic. That's the word I'm looking for. Alright, so I hope that you enjoyed my take on temper and that you will go check out the Facebook group, and I'll post a link down at the bottom in the description box below to the Facebook group, My Creative Year, and I hope that you'll go check out all the lovely other teaching artists that are here to give you their take on this week's prompt, and I hope that you'll come back and visit me as well. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Toodles. Bye.